It is not strange that since the election has been called, the main opposition party and in some instances even the ruling UDP have been expressing concerns at how things are being done in the campaigning process and more so in the area of voters list and registrations. Those concerns have ranged from the recent swearing in of naturalized Belizeans to land ownership by government officials to the nationality of certain standard bearers, alleged secret deals by the Prime Minister with Fortis, and alleged interference by the government of Belize in the Elections and Boundaries Department, as well as the alleged illegal issuance of signed proxy forms. Tonight we continue on the story of the proxy forms and the major allegation made against the Chief Elections Officer that she has been allowing blank proxy forms to be signed. But before we get into the heart of this matter, we will start by having the proxy process explained by a senior elections officer.
That proxy is in the Representation of the People's Act, Section 19(1). The proxy now, only persons working proxy are only members of the Belize Defense Force, the police department, people working on diplomatic missions, and abroad, the consulates outside Belizean embassies, right? Outside. And then people working as elections officers on election day. When you apply for a proxy, you find someone to be your proxy because you will be working somewhere else. You were assigned as a returning officer or presiding officer. Then you come to the office, you get your two forms. For instance, we'll use an example, a police officer, because he will be working, doing police duties. So he'll come to the office, he will take it to his what you'll call it, the commissioner of police or the person in charge of the precinct where he's working. Then fill out the information, and the proxy, the person he will come to the office. We will look up if the person is registered, because the person has to be registered. Then we will sign it and give him back the proxy number 25. It's always come as two, 25 and 26. 26 belongs to us, and the 25 form belongs to him. So that's the paper that he will give, the proxy paper that he will give to the person voting proxy.
With that being said, in terms of who qualifies to vote via proxy, we now move on to the allegation made by the People's United Party, particularly in the Cayo Central Division. A letter came to our attention yesterday in which allegations of the unlawful signing of blank proxy forms. This letter, signed by Cayo Central's campaign manager Horace Grant, refers to an incident in which a police officer had applied to vote via proxy and had acquired the assistance of the chairman of the UDP, Alberto August. The two forms were reportedly signed and stamped by the Commissioner of Police, but there was reportedly an oversight on the part of the Commissioner in dating the form. Based on that oversight, the elections officer at Cayo Central reportedly refused to accept the form without the date. August, who reportedly considered it a trivial issue, made direct contact with the chief elections officer, who then directed that the proxy form be accepted. The elections officer, who had initially rejected the form, stood her ground and, despite directive from her superior, continued rejecting the proxy form. A second call was made to Tamai, and that call was placed on speaker in the office, in which she directed that the form be accepted. At the end of the entire exchange, the form was accepted and the police officer was able to have his proxy vote submitted. The letter, however, went on to accuse the chief elections officer of corruption. As it stated, quote, "During this call, Mr. August had you on speaker, thereby permitting all those present at the moment to listen into your response, where you were instructing the registrar to sign these blank proxy forms."